Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamalov joining me. Where's the hat, dude? What did you, because we struck him so many times, you took the hat off? That's
Yeah,
it?
it was only a 3-star hat. I'm looking for a
Uh,
5-star.
dude, I'm actually going to have Touchdown T send that over today. We're going to order one on eBay. We'll get an actual General's hat for you. But
We need merch for the opportunistic
we
traders.
should. I mean, listen, you got to talk to the people behind the camera here. We actually, you just woke me up because I've been thinking about that. I have a little bit of op trader merchandise, but we need the world to now have it to rep us. But anyway, here we are. Hope you had a good weekend. Macro Monday, excited. Just interesting noise in the tape. I'll go. It's a macro Monday, so I want to touch on all thematic macro. Whether it's we talk about bonds, currencies, oil, gold. Just the pieces, different countries, what's going on in rates. But
But what's the biggest macro theme? We talk about rates, we talk about oil, and it's all like, it's repetitive every day. We'll bomb Iran, they'll bomb us, oil will go up, then it goes down. Rates seem like they want to price in rate hikes, then they don't. Like, I think the biggest trend right now is what we saw on Friday with Moonshot. Is they
I
came
don't
out
even.
with
I don't even want to listen. I knew you were going to do this. I
yeah,
don't. I.
you
It's
don't
a
want to, but that's the biggest
no. I
thing.
want to do it, but it's BS, and it doesn't
Really,
matter. It was the same thing as what was that stupid thing that sold us
deep
off?
seek, deep seek.
See, I know that lasted 2 days. No one's
I
ever.
know.
It wasn't even real. Someone made that up. Okay, yeah, I don't even know if it's a company, but I'm not going there. Listen,
It did last only a couple of days with deep seek, but don't you think that this is a trend where the sell side hasn't accounted for any kind of competition at all?
listen. I don't know what I'm seeing, and listen. By no means that people that watch this podcast and people that know me, I'm not bullish. Okay, but I do think some of this stuff may look a little bit oversold, so I don't know if we're going to get an hour bounce or a 3 hour bounce, or I don't like mornings like this where market is up, people are selling into this, they keep selling into it, and off the opening you get one of these. I'm hoping we don't have it. You get these lifts, and then they get to the short gamma that you always talk about. But let's
Yeah,
just.
hold on. Well, before we go on, yeah, I actually agree with you. The Nasdaq
No
has
way.
been
You cannot be agreeing with me on Monday. No
well.
way.
It's not whether I agree with you. It's what this chart is saying in the Nasdaq. We hit that trend line on the bottom end of this trend channel, and this has been a messy trend channel because prices would breach both sides of this trend channel a little bit only to come in right back into it, and we're right back into it. We hit the downside of that. That was a support all of last night. So when you talk about oversold, this is what this
No,
chart.
no, 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 no. I just listen. I am not like going out like you saying like over. I'm just saying that the movement, like, I would just say this: on Thursday of last week, the Nasdaq was trading 30,065. Okay, it's down to 29,000. It was down to 28,760. I mean, you're talking about monster moves, and while all of this is happening, the S&P is so stable. Even when it goes up and down, it's stable. Like, it's funny, I trade a decent amount of Nasdaqs. I'm almost thinking I don't want to trade it anymore, just because it's so unstable and unreliable. Like, I'll give you an example. Friday afternoon on the close, Touchdown T could tell you, he was sitting right here. Like, index is trading at a level, literally within 2 ticks, it goes down, and then he's telling me his machine is broken. Okay, I mean, they can't even pick up the quotes. Okay, so that to me is just a place that I don't really want to operate that much. I'll be there a little bit, but I'm shifting my bigger focus to the S&P because the Nasdaq is just it's crazy. It's crazy. Bid off for 100. I get in the shower. The news comes out that they're going to do a 10-day ceasefire. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if it's true or not. I believe it is because think about this, and then we'll get to the macro. I know I'm talking it up today, but just listen to this. Okay, what is our end game? How do we win? How do we stop this? What are we looking to accomplish? The answer is nothing. There's no out. There's nothing to accomplish. So like literally, if Trump had his way, he would pack up and leave. He doesn't want to deal with these clowns. You can't beat them. You can't beat them. They're unbeatable. They've been doing this for thousands of years, thousands. We're freaking out, which we should. But I guess like two people died over the weekend. You would have thought they wiped out a cavalry of people. Like two people. I mean, you don't want to lose any, especially if one is a family member. And I'm not disrespecting that, but that is not a lot. Go back to the Vietnam War, go back to anything. That's not a lot. And we're freaking out, dude. So we don't want to be there. We shouldn't be
Well,
there.
we should be freaking out because the way Iran retaliated is that they're not afraid of a escalation.
But what
And
is
the
Eric?
freak
What
out
is
the freak out should be that the freak out should be centered around the realization that we can't do much to them unless we go full throttle, which we don't want to do. And therefore, it's either going to be a quagmire or Iran is going to be seen as winning.
Okay. Well, I don't think Iran is winning. I just don't think there is an out, which puts them in a great position. Okay. But, it's just a waste. And the truth is, we don't think about how much money we're spending to bomb sand. Literally, we're hitting nothing. We're hitting like a bridge. You know, like, why don't we blow up a building in the center of Tehran?
Mhm.
Okay. You want to wake them up? You want to wake them up and get them a little nervous? Do that. They know Trump doesn't want to kill one person. I don't know what's going on, but I want to get off that. Let's shift.
Well,
You
let me
know,
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about the war because it is a big macro trend. Where do you think the state of the war is a day after the midterms? Where do you think that war is going to be?
um,
Same place we were
yeah,
at now.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's going to try to get out. I mean, listen, they thought they had a negotiated deal to at least sit down and talk, and there's nothing to talk about. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Talk about the Nasdaq. So people that trade the Nasdaq futures, like I'm looking at the future market right now. I've never seen this. There's a 29.10 bid for 407, and there's a 29.15 bid for 400. Those are so fake. Like a big lot in there is 10. They're just sitting in there. I'm watching them. They're just sitting. It's probably Trump. It's probably Trump before his next Truth Social tweet or whatever. But
Should we as traders be getting ready for some sort of big tweet from Trump about the war today?
what's he going to tweet? He's going to say they called him on the. Dude, he's going to say this. You ready? And then we got to move on. Okay. Um, he's going to say they called me up. They're dying to do a deal. Dying. Like they want a deal so bad. Okay. And not only that, they want to give us the nuclear dust, okay, and everything else, okay? That's the tweet, okay? Now, do you believe that? Of course not, but that's the tweet. I mean, I got Iranians calling me all day, So, anyway, let's talk a little macro. The first market I really want to look at, which has been the key, keeps you in your element, is oil. Ticking the high of this move overnight, and then obviously after the war ended at 7:45 this morning in a ceasefire, it came in to like $80. I personally, I know you like oil. I don't like oil.
Well. You left out a big part of that. Yeah, it went to 80, and now it's back to almost 83 again.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like oil. As a long. I only because I think
Well,
there's
does that
maybe
mean you like it as a short, or you just don't like any
no.
side of
I'm not playing it. I think it's a better for me. It's a better short than a long.
it? Mhm.
But we'll see. Also, um, I don't know. There's a lot of there's a lot of cross currents here. I mean, I just don't understand like who's brokering these deals. Is it still these Pakistanis, or is it now some Middle Eastern country? Like who's brokering like any talks? Like every day it's someone else. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. Kind of crazy. So here we sit.
Well, in terms of the oil trade, I've been talking a lot about Marathon Petroleum and refiners and putting up charts of refining margins. Look what Marathon has done. Now, I got out of my Marathon position on Friday. And I would say any kind of pullback here, I'm looking to actually buy. So I hope oil goes down a little bit. And, I got out, like I said, I got out on Friday, but, I'm just thinking that it pulls back a little bit. And I'm kind of ready to get into it again. But this has been a very strong trend. Like Marathon has been going up, refiners have been going up, even when oil is going down. So I continue to like this trade. I think it could pare back a little bit, just on profit taking, but I don't know. I don't see oil going right back down to 75 or 70, and I don't see refining margins dropping significantly here.
I would say that you're probably right, but I don't know how you feel so confident. If right now they broker a peace deal and the world is at peace, and Trump says they're meeting in, Qatar, on Wednesday, and he's sending Vance on the plane again, oil will be in the 70s. And the
That's
less
fine. That's fine. I'm out. First of all, I'm out of but I'm not in
Dude,
oil.
I'm
Well,
not.
I'm in
I'm
oil
not.
in one
I'm,
account, but
this question is not to you. It's not about you and your position. It's just
uh,
about the general marketplace.
uh,
Okay. Thank you for saying you're out and that whatever. But I'm just saying, I don't know how you can be so confident about what's coming down the pipe, and nobody even knows. Like my market sense here. We bombed them for how many days? Nine, seven, eight, whatever it is in a row. We're running out of artillery. Okay. You can't bomb for 3 straight weeks without running low on something. We were already low. So we need to stop because we need to recalibrate. Okay. So I think that that's coming. Okay. Whether it's a fake third. Listen, the market, think about this, Eric. Go back 2 months. They had a 30-day ceasefire, a 60 or a 90, whatever. That thing was broken every single day and the market didn't care. Now all of a sudden it cares. Like I don't know, you know. Um I'm I'm hoping the market stays sort of mellow. I just hope they don't blow the lid off it. I have short some upside, whatever. Okay, so we touched on oil. You kind of gave an opinion that you think it's going higher, but you're not in your position. So I would say, as a trader or money manager, if you're not in your positions, you can't think it's going higher. Okay. If you thought it was going higher, maybe you sell half or whatever. So and I'm not, trying to hit you here. And I'm just saying, you're at a lot of
well,
headlines.
you're just upset because you missed the entire oil trade to the upside, and I had it from 70.
I think I was short some oil. I think we did
There you
okay,
go.
and then we didn't get out. But I have puts, and I'm still sitting in them.
So you've actually been hitting me on oil ever since it started going up from 70.
All right, whatever. It's Monday. You're trying to have a fight with me? It's all good, dude.
I am
I got
trying to fight with you.
okay. Well, it's not going to work. Okay,
Well, it's
not going
Monday.
to
We
work.
got to get going, dude. We got to get
No.
the adrenaline pumping.
Okay. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your favorite, another market that I'm short, gold. Okay, it feels to me it's up a little today. I saw earlier. It feels to me like it's wanting to go lower, but I don't see a trade. It's like Macro Monday. Oil's going to move the way of Trump, tweeting or whatever Listen, the interesting thing this morning is we're up here. It's 9 o'clock, right? He hasn't even come out, right? I mean, I haven't seen anything.
Well, what is he going to come? He never comes out with bad news. All right, so he'll come out with good news. So you talk about gold. Gold was interesting overnight. The chat was talking about gold, how much it sucks, and it has sucked. It has sucked a lot. This is a trade that got hijacked by the war, monetary, but now monetary policy sentiment has kind of eased off a little bit. We're not going to get a July hike. Yield curve is popping back up. This all should be good for gold, and I'm just wondering whether I saw some.
Well,
I
let
saw
me ask
some
you.
activity last night. Not in gold, but in silver looks a lot better than gold here.
Well, let me ask you this. This is an interesting one. Okay, how come unless they got out, which I don't think they did, and somehow you think they did, but no one I know got out of silver or gold on the way down. But there's been no, like, I'm waiting for this capitulation day where it's down 100 and then ends positive, or there's, what I call shaking machine, where the machine is really moving and becomes orderly, from being unorderly. I'm waiting for that. That hasn't come. I'm expecting that in gold. But you know that's that. Let's talk. Our favorite market that we honestly love um, is um, is um, um, is bonds. We talk about that as like the key to the whole move. So what do you think? I mean, I don't know what you trade the 30-year, I guess. I don't trade that anymore. It's illiquid. Um, but like 10-year, every time it looks like it's going to rally, it doesn't, right?
Yeah, 30-year. I mean, in general, where do you think rates are going? Higher or lower from here?
Higher,
Higher. Okay, so
significantly. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means for the market. The market's, listen, think about our market. It's held in this whole time. They literally had 40% chance of a rate hike in July, and the market didn't even blink.
well, here's the 30-year. It's just been in a holding pattern over the last couple. I don't actually see a trade here at all. I'm just
You know,
looking at it more of as an indicator right now than as a position to hold. I I had some TLT, which I significantly pared back. It was like a 2-day trade. I just don't see it moving much before the Fed release on July 29th.
yeah,
Do you see
I
it
don't.
differently? Do you see TLT moving here?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think it's going to move prior. I just think yield's going to back up. It's not going to be significant yet, but if we get to 475, it could be a blip up to five. Listen, you know, seasonally, seasonally, this week is usually pretty good. It's the week after expiration in July. Market got hit last week, probably recovers a bit, but who knows? I don't know. I think we had a question about gold in here. Let me go look. And guys, send your questions in to the chat and we'll get to them, live.
Well, the question is, will gold have a comeback?
Dude, you said yes, maybe. You don't even know.
I think it'll have a comeback. I think it'll have a big comeback. Silver's starting to look good actually here. So
Mm. I would have liked to see silver get down into the low 50s, but you know, who knows? I think we could have one of these trades, Eric, where it just gets hammered and then sits for years potentially, like it did for the last 30 years. I don't know. I I've just never seen anything in 40 years, 40 plus years of trading trade the way silver did. With all the listen, we were on the podcast in March every day was another lie. You're like, oh, China suspended supply. Oh, it's in every data center. It's this, it's that. 18 different things, and then it just disappeared. Is it not in data centers anymore? Is China letting the natural resource out? Like what was that? Honestly, what was that? Incredible is what it
That
was.
was a bubble that got inflated very quickly and got deflated just as quickly. That's what that was.
Right, but it's still above where it took off from.
I think people got into silver and gold during that little bubble that we had in the first
Well, I
quarter.
think I
And
think
then
the
when it
bubble.
stopped working, they're like, "Hey, I just want to sit in my Nvidia. This is not what I signed up for." Because they're not used to commodity volatility like this.
But can I say this? Like, here's the thing. I think a lot of these, we're going to call them for all intents and purposes, mini bubbles. These mini bubbles, believe it or not, and it's something, I'm an old guy, okay? It's probably better for you, but this is all created by the internet, social media. They have influencers like that have come on a podcast and have silver teeth. And they're pumping it, and there's zillions of people. You always talk about the Korean ants that just got wiped out in Korea. I mean, literally wiped out. I mean, that market didn't even bounce last night. Okay. I mean, it will bounce tonight. I actually want to try to buy some of this triple leveraged Korean stuff, but
That
I
might not
mean,
be a bad play because actually the news on moonshot, and you and I were talking about this on
you
Friday.
got it. You promised you weren't going to do it.
The
I
news
don't
on
care.
moonshot, I think, is actually good for Micron on paper
Okay.
because you get more competition. More companies are going to need memory and chips, but it's bad for companies that are developing models because of more. So on paper, the reaction kind of made sense, but when you zoom out, all of it looks like BS, of course.
Can I say this? Let's get away from moonshot. I don't even know what it is. It's probably your son invented the company in your basement or something. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing as where is DeepSeek? Whatever happened? Is it even real?
It's real.
Like, I know they're in the market, they're in the game, whatever. So, let's. I mean, it's just, I had a thought. Um, let's talk about one of your favorites. The one that I told you makes the least sense out of any stock in the United States stock market, that literally pulled the wool over the retail public's eyes, pumped it up, and dumped it on their head. Okay. Do you know what it is? I gave you a lot of clues.
SpaceX.
You got it. Okay. Let's talk a little SpaceX. So we ran a promo last week. Okay. How to trade these IPOs that are overhyped, okay, when they come public. And it's not trading the IPO itself, it's trading directionally around that with spreads in the indexes, okay? And that product's been doing well as SpaceX has wiped everybody out. And I am telling you, SpaceX has like a $1.6 trillion market cap. I think it's up a little this morning. I saw it's like 125 or 120. Where's it trading? Do you know?
Yeah,
126.
125.30.
Yeah. So this stock will be under 100 without a doubt, and it'll still be overvalued. I don't know how they're going to handle this. And then, do you know how much stock is unlocking here? It's unbelievable. I mean, do you think? I mean, they buried the retail public in this thing. They're buried, buried. Who do you think bought it up to 220? It was an institution.
Nah, it was mom and pop. Mom and pop were buying 180, 190.
Who and 200 and 220 and on the opening at 150, and they didn't sell their IPO stock because they basically were told they had to hold it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I mean, I've never heard of that. That's almost extortion. How can a firm tell you? They didn't tell you. They're like, it reminds me. I'm not going to go into it. I was going to tell a story about like the Ferrari market. So like back in the day before Ferrari was a public company, if you could get your hands on a Ferrari, the deal was you bought the car from the dealership, but if you did not sell the car back to the dealership, you would never get another car. It's the same thing. Same thing. If you got this IPO and you didn't wait 2 or 3 weeks and they marked everybody's account, then the bottom line is you're out. Do you think that's fair? And the reason why they did that, Eric, is because they wanted no stock on the market to manipulate it, to get everybody out of the syndicate that they bought. It's gross. It's typical Wall Street. Um, but anyway, we have like 5 minutes. I don't
By the
know
way,
if there's,
with SpaceX, you think it's due for a little bounce? I mean, I'm trying to double dutch it. So I sold my puts on Friday and then bought calls.
yeah, it came down to your level. It's a good trade. I don't know. I would say I'm not sure. Um, is it like for me, this is right in my wheelhouse, for a counter trend up trade for a little bit. But I just think there's so much stock out there. Anyway, someone's writing in, they want to know where the straddle is. I haven't looked at it all day, but I'm going with 32. That's a
30.
complete, that's a guess. Do you have it up?
Yeah, I have it at 35. But
Wow, it's not bad.
35. What are your thoughts on that level?
Um,
Now we're already up. We're already up
well,
30.
listen, here's the deal with that, right? It's very hard for it to hit 35 from here or harder because it'll be an outside up day. But if we
Right.
come in, it can easily hit that. So, you're
Yes.
kind of playing, if you're playing that on the short side, you're thinking the market would not be going down. We have another question about Bitcoin. I'm scared to say this. I kind of like it.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but since we're talking about SPX, there's another question. Put spreads today. For me, I have put spreads open. Yes, I have put spreads open. Angled
Long
bull,
or short?
short put spreads.
Oh, I'm not shorting a put spread up here. No way.
Well, that's what I have open. I put that
Okay.
on this. I was selling the
Wait, when
50
did you put
40.
that on? When did you put that on?
Literally at like 8:15 as soon as the options opened up. So I'll just tell you what I have. I have the 74 50 40. That spread is trading at $1.30. I think that level should hold the 50. You're looking, you're seeing that the market is a little bit over
I,
here
dude,
technically.
the market is over. Listen, the market is. I think Nasdaq is actually like I don't know. We have this equal weighted SPY as a position for our subscribers. It's been working unbelievably well. You know, it's something to look at to potentially reverse out of that. We're going to stay in it, but to reverse out of that, Nasdaq is more obviously oversold than the S&P. S&P is 100 handles from an all-time high, and Nasdaq's like 8% or something from an all-time high. So here we sit. Market's going to open in 15 minutes.
The
you
problem today is like, I'm kind of like looking for a Trump tweet. Like, are you getting the sense that we may get something from him today?
And what are we going to get, Eric? That they want to do a deal so bad, and he talked to 19 Iranians, and they want to hand over the dust, and blah 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 blah
Well,
blah.
the question is, do you wait for any kind of news from him first before acting, or
Well,
like do you think the market's stable enough to do
I
something?
would think that we're going to stop bombing them. Okay, that's what I would think. Now, what that means, it could be a fake ceasefire or whatever. I just think that we're not proving any point bombing them every night in retaliation for what they're doing. And then my better question, and you're going to lead me over 9:15, and I want to touch on Bitcoin before we wrap. Um, the bottom line is that Trump has stated they have no military at all. They have they have no navy. It's at the bottom of the sea. They have no air force. They blew up every plane. They have no this, they have no that. What we're missing here, okay, is this is a different kind of war. They don't need a military. They don't need anything. They need a bunch of video gamers that are probably trading the US stock market, manipulating up and down to fly a bunch of drones around and try to blow shit up. That's what they need. They don't need an army. They don't need a navy. They're sitting in a back room. Like if you ever look at Ukraine, who are the experts in this right now, okay? All these guys are professional gamers and they're just flying drones all over the place. It's a different kind of war. So I don't see an end game. Can Trump tweet? Like, okay, so, and then we got to talk about Bitcoin and rap, but I want to know right now what you think he's going to tweet. I know you don't know. What do you think he's going to tweet today or tomorrow?
Something along the lines of they want to make a deal, something along the lines of if they're going to be on bad behavior, we're going to bomb the crap out of them. Something about it,
Why would
something
that
about
move the market?
bombing into
Yeah.
oblivion if they don't comply. So I'm sure he'll say something where
I think it's different. I think, in my mind, you're all over the place with that. You're saying that they have a deal, but they're going to bomb them into oblivion. I actually think he's going to say they want to meet. They've had enough. We bombed them so much they have enough. So you know, that's what I see. But I want to talk about Bitcoin because I've been ultra bearish on Bitcoin for over a year, and I'm not warming up to it, so don't get crazy. But I kind of think it may look okay here. I'd like to pick it up if it comes in a little, but I think this level should hold, and we may get a day where you blip up 5,000 points, 3,000 points, and have this thing back above 70. I'm not touching it yet, but I
damn,
what?
but that's quite a scenario. I like it.
I don't know. I watch it every day. I watch it over the weekend. I'm watching it, and it
Here's
just
what I'm watching technically in Bitcoin. It's been straddling that 8-day moving average in a very annoying way. Like I tried to get long, and it's not paying what I think it should pay. Now you're saying 5,000 point up, that would hit this upper range of this trend channel here, which is my target. So you have the RSI divergence, you have that classic, but it's been taking a while to develop. But this is a bullish pattern, so I would agree.
Mhm.
I would agree. Maybe I should get back into Bitcoin today. As the chat says, BTC is crap. Yeah, it's been trading like crap. That's for sure.
Oh, listen, I'm not. Listen, I'm just very okay. So here's the divergence. Okay, last week was a very bad week for Nasdaq. Okay, and Bitcoin was flat to up. So that's one of the first weeks we've seen that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm a screaming bull. I'm just saying that divergence of that trend is definitely showing up right here, right now. So that's something that I'm looking at. Again, today I'm short a little bit of upside above the market. I'm hoping we don't get one of these openings where we blip and then just, crush the short gamma, which wouldn't be good for, the op trader. But we'll see what's going on. I will tell you though, watching the NASDAQ, and I don't know if you do it during the day, literally, if you watch NASDAQ for an hour, you're going to get tired. Literally, it's like you ever see that thing where they dangle that coin in front of you and you fall asleep? That's like what this is. It's like this all day long, up, down, up, that. Like there is no way a human could even interact in this market. You said it the other day. You're like trading, which I think is too small, like $15 bid offers in NASDAQ. I think you got to trade NASDAQ if you're scalping futures for a minimum of $50. Minimum of 50.
That's a great point. That reminded me. I actually wanted to bring that exact thing up. Like if you take um, a minute bars on Nasdaq and you run a time series on it, last couple of years, you see the length of the minute bars is getting wider and wider because of what you said. You cannot get into a Nasdaq trade without penciling in a 50-point move. Like you have to be
50.
able to sit there for at least, because it could
Listen,
be
you're
going like this
terrible.
flat, and all of a sudden you get a 10 points
10.
on the, and then it
10.
goes right back. Like some
Dude,
algo like did
we get
something
a lot
and
more. We get a lot more than 10. Okay. Like when they get that sell, it just goes like this. It's like a floor in an elevator, it just drops out, you know?
this is very important for prop traders that trade Top Step and Take Profit Trader, things like that, which is a big trend. Like I'm hearing a lot of complaints about people getting stopped out all the time. You have to pencil in 50-point moves in that. Like any trade you make, you got to put in a 50-point minimum stop, not a maximum, like a minimum
Yeah.
stop of 50.
Anyway, we're 9:20. I know you want to just hang with me the rest of the morning. So we're going to get everybody ready for trading today. I hope everyone has a great day. If you think the market is not going to hold in here, I would not mess with the straddle today. If you think the market will hold in here and maybe even go higher, the straddle might not be a bad play. Um, Keep an eye on oil. I do not like oil. Okay. I think if you're saying it's back up at 83, I'm a seller. So I will sell oil on the opening at that level. And we're on to today and just, you know, if you have a weak heart, don't look at the Nasdaq. It'll drive you crazy, up and down 100 points every minute. Good luck trading, everyone, and we'll be back tomorrow. Peace. Enjoy.